Rule an empire. That's the dream, right? But what happens when a patriot who says he just wants to put the rightful heir on the throne ends up becoming the very thing he sought to destroy? Today we're cracking open Admiral Farley Havelock's private logs. 5 audiographs to chart the journey from a Loyalist conspirator to Lord Regent, and maybe to a man who lost his soul. The question is, did Havelock always want to be Lord Protector, or is he a victim of his own success? Let's listen to the logs and find out. Entry 1 is recorded right after Corvo is freed from Coldridge. This is the foundational moment of the conspiracy. Havelock says,
Log entry 1-4. It seems we have moved to a new phase. Martin's improvisations have borne fruit. The former bodyguard has been freed and is en route to the staging location. With Pendleton's voting block and my military connections, all we've lacked is the ability to project lethal force in a controlled manner against a previously inaccessible... to the point, we need a man who can kill the bastards for us. Corvo is more than capable of that, I have no doubt. End log. Is this off? Switch, where the hell is it?
Here, Havelock sounds like a military planner. He's focused on assets. Martin's contacts, Pendleton's political leverage, his own navy ties. Corvo is the missing piece, the lethal force they need. There's no hint of personal ambition yet. He's just a leader marshalling resources for the cause. But notice the language. Project lethal force in a controlled manner. Control is already on his mind. Entry 2 is recorded after Corvo's first meeting with the outsider. Havelock observes.
Corvo seems to have arrived in good shape. Much better than I expected, given what I've seen of Coldridge Prison. He seems willing to work with us, and he shouldn't lack for motivation. The man has lost everything. We'll judge how he performs in the field, and if I can, I'll find a way to test him personally.
Havelock is still assessing. He's impressed, but he's cautious. He wants to test him personally, a control mechanism. This isn't yet about seizing the throne. It's about making sure Corvo is a reliable tool. But the seed of paranoia is there. If Corvo is capable, what happens when he's no longer appointed at the Lord Regent? After Corvo takes down High Overseer Campbell, Havelock's tone shifts. Entry number 3.
Corvo's proved his abilities beyond question. It's not anyone who can walk into Holger Square and put down the High Overseer. And now we're faced with the question, could he be dangerous? Events are going to move quickly now. The storm's rising.
This is a turning point. Havelock acknowledges Corvo's effectiveness, but he's now worried about the blowback. The phrase, could he be dangerous, shows that Havelock is starting to think about the conspiracy aftermath. If Corvo can remove their enemies, he could also remove them. Havelock's mind is already running scenarios where he needs to protect himself from his own weapon. That's not the thinking of a pure idealist. Entry 4 is recorded during the Royal Physician mission. The conspiracy is feeling the heat, and Havelock drops a bombshell.
We're getting closer to reaching our goals, but our position is becoming more dangerous. You don't house and feed a half-dozen people without leaving telltale traces. Riverboats pass day and night, and the looters are going to start gathering once they're sure the plague has burned the place out. I conclude, if our enemies are not dead by the month of wind, we will be. There's a sadness in Emily, but she's strong, weathering the death of her mother just a half a year ago better than most grown men I've known. Once we take Dunwall Tower, I'll see that her life is better. I've always thought that I'd command the Navy in her name, but sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't just take the title Lord Regent and do it properly.
There it is. Sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't just take the title Lord Regent and do it properly. This is the moment ambition surfaces, but it's framed as a passing thought, and maybe it would be better if I was in charge. Notice he hasn't acted on it yet. He's still talking about serving Emily. The crack in his patriotism is now visible. But is it a plan or just a temptation? Finally, entry 5. By now Hiram Burroughs is dead. Emily has been rescued and Havelock is Lord Regent. But the lock reveals a man consumed by guilt and paranoia.
We've done such things. Cowardly things that I'm ashamed of. How could anyone ever forgive us? Would they? Even if things are better? No, that's not how it works. Once the bureaucrats step in, everything gets muddy. If anyone ever knew, we'd all lose our heads for this. So no one can know. And could we ever control Emily with Corvo around? That's the question that sticks in my mind. We need to make our final move, and we need to make it cleanly. No loose ends. Only a few in the know. The ones with the most to lose.
This is not the voice of a mastermind basking in victory. This is a man terrified of being found out, drowning in guilt, and desperate to eliminate loose ends, including Corvo and even Emily if necessary. He's now fully committed to the cover-up. The idealist who once wanted to restore the throne has become the tyrant who will kill to keep it. So, back to our question. Did Havelock always want to be Lord Regent, or did he become a victim of his own success? The logs don't show a man who planned the coup from day one. Havelock starts as a patriot, generally believing he could install Emily and then stand aside as Grand Admiral. But as the conspiracy succeeds, he becomes increasingly aware of two things. First, that the power they've accumulated is too dangerous to let go, and second, that Corvo, the instrument of their victory, is a threat he can't control. His ambition first appears as a wonder in entry 4, but by entry 5 it's a necessity born of fear. Havelock didn't start the engine of power, but once it was running, he couldn't bring himself to turn it off. He's not a pure victim, he made choices, but he's also not a simple villain. He's a tragic figure who let success convince him that he was the only one who could rule. In the end, the empire he wanted to save destroyed him. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dissection of Havelock's psyche, drop a like and subscribe for more Dishonored lore.